the debate was not to beat on any one candidate. The purpose was for each of us to present ourselves and our qualifications to be governor of the state of New Jersey.
You think you got an opportunity to do that tonight?
I think I did. I was happy to be able to present the credentials that being mayor of Princeton have afforded me. I think that I was able to show that the differences in the problems facing New Jersey are differences in degree, not in kind. And of course, I did refer to another successful Princetonian who ran for governor, Woodrow Wilson, and I'd like to hold him up as a model for all of us.
You think the debate is going to change anything out there?
You know, you never know. You never know what's going on out there. It sure was fun talking to y'all.
What was your raise in New Orleans since they brought up that issue?
What's that?
How much did you raise in New Orleans since the issue was raised here? You know?
He wasn't there. I think around 15,000. You know, I mean, they're having an oil crisis.
Of the other two candidates, what's your assessment of the other two candidates tonight as you listen to them?
Well, I thought that they pretty much said what they usually say. I mean, I think that is pretty much what has happened with these kinds of forums. They have become more forums than debates, in which the candidates really do showcase their own credentials and their own experiences, and I think that's pretty much what happened.
Wasn't it frustrating to be cut off and not get a chance to really get into the issues with much time?
Well, you know, as I said at the beginning, I think that the League of Women Voters always sets up these debates in very sensible ways. And I will tell you something, whenever I have been a participant in these debates, I don't think I have enough time. Whenever I've been listening to these debates, I think they go on much too long.
Thanks, Barbara.
Okay.
Got the Consumer Federation of America's award last year as the outstanding congressman protecting consumer rights. He must have some credibility in that area. So it's that approach.
You look surprised when Assemblyman Karcher asked you to sign the same pledge and you wouldn't run again in 4 years and didn't roll back the.
Well, I hadn't thought about the idea.
Would you be willing to sign that pledge?
I don't want to categorize it as silly because that would be unkind. It's just something that when we start talking about even certainty with regard to levels of reduction, no one has the facts at this point. There's a JUA audit that's coming out to find out how big the JUA deficit is, how much the insurance companies have not paid in already, and therefore it may be bigger or smaller. So we're dealing in a vacuum of information, which is the major problem that I have in this campaign. The state government, whether it be the Department of Insurance or any other agency up there, seems to be in a state of disarray that people are very troubled by, including myself.
This was a cordial debate. Sure wasn't like the Republicans last week.
Well, we've got sensible people here.
But this is the first time that both Alan and Barbara had a chance to be with you in a forum like this. Many people, I think, expected them to be a lot tougher on you than they were tonight.
I really don't think so. I don't really think so, no.
Did you expect them to be
I
tough?
expected that we were going to have an exchange of views, which we did. We have a degree of maturity in the Democratic Party that is, I think, at this point, lacking in the Republican Party. There is a hunger for unity in the Democratic ranks. And someone who jeopardized that unity will pay a price, and I think we all know that.
Were you expecting this tonight to be?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I have great respect for both of the other candidates, and I know that they are not only capable of, but interested in explaining their views, which, of course, is what they did tonight.
Nonetheless, Congressman, you said earlier today to one of our reporters that you wouldn't be happy with a draw. Was this a draw?
Well, I think what this was clearly a win for all three people, and a win for the process, and a win, frankly, for the Democratic Party. Someone just mentioned it. Yeah, the contrast between our approach, which is sensible, legitimate, talking about the issues, and the Republican frustration because none of their folks are in any way striking any kind of chords, and it resulted in a very silly-looking catfight, quite frankly. That contrast is going to do us justice, I think, in November.
How about the question about the third debate that seemed to catch you off guard a little bit, and your answer was you'll check your schedule?
Well, it's not a matter of checking our schedule as much as it is my trying to formulate the best ways that I can communicate with people. Debates obviously are one way. We have them. Forums are another way. Meetings, such as the one covered by your station today at the Chamber of Commerce in Paterson, are very good ways of communicating with people as well. But so there are lots of ways that you communicate. But what we're trying to do is to find out what the best way is.
Well, surely a televised debate is a way of communicating with more
absolutely.
people.
That's why I'm here tonight.
And how about a third one?
And it may very well be that we will do that.
Okay. How do you think your performance was here this evening?
Well, I think all of us were sensible. Everyone is working from fundamentally the same premises. We're talking about democratic unity, that there wasn't any major philosophic disagreement here, as I suspect there is on the Republican side. This was a very good omen for success for the Democratic Party in November.
You and the liberal Alan Karcher are together, are you?
I think the fundamental views that we have on issues, there may be some marginal differences, but I think for the most part, when he talks about social justice, I'm concerned about social justice as well. When I talk about frugality and not wasting money, he's committed to not wasting money either. We may have some differences as to how money should be allocated, how money should be raised, but the fundamentals are there.
Thanks, Congressman.
Congressman Florio, I had a question from the audience that was here.
How was it, Alan?
Well, I think it went very fast. I thought it was very good. I thought it was an opportunity for people to see all three of us and to see our styles and some of our substance. I think it's a question that is summed up, I think, with the congressman by his refusal not to even answer whether he'll come to another debate. I mean, to study this and study that, and we're going to have reorder priorities, and just how much of that, people said, how do you react to that? You react by shrugging your shoulders and raising your eyebrows. What's he talking about, reordering priorities and handling the budget deficit by studying it? And,
You think he hurt himself tonight?
I think that the question, probably the most telling question of all, is just a simple yes or no answer on whether you'll come to a third debate. And his inability to respond candidly and quickly to that proposition, I think, is reflective of what his style is and the way he deals with things. Yeah, I think that simple question probably did more damage to him than anything else.
How about Barbara?
I think Barbara's a very fine candidate. I like Barbara. I think that if she had a depth of legislative experience to go with the experience she does have, certainly she's on the right track on many things, and Barbara and I agree on many things. I think she's a little timid on certain things. Studying incineration is not we know now. Shut them down. Yeah, that's the answer. The question that, she says on taxes, well, let's take this incremental step. That's not the answer. The answer is to have courage and boldness.
You're really riding this incinerator issue. Tonight it was $6 billion we're going to spend. Only last Thursday it was $3 to $4 billion.
I read that. I was corrected by reading that from an environmental writer in the Star Ledger, so I trust it's the correct number.
Okay. And your own performance tonight, did you do what you wanted to do?
I did exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to show that I was specific, that I had candor, that I'm not afraid of any issue, that I answer honestly, I don't hedge, I don't equivocate. I say it like it is, very, very specifically, in great detail, and with a certain willingness to take the step and to take a challenge and to commit yourself to something. And I want this party to stand for something. That's what my whole campaign's about, is having this party stand for something.
You wouldn't say whether Jesse Jackson was mainstream or not?
Well, I think what I said...
That was your question to dodge.
Yeah, and no, it wasn't my question at all. I think that the Democratic Party, I hope nobody got that impression, because I think what he's saying about the domestic agenda with regard to schools and with regard to crime and with regard to housing, that's certainly where this Democratic Party belongs. We belong on the side of affordable housing. We belong on the side of prenatal care. We belong on the side of committing more money to the schools. We belong on the side of really having a fight against drugs by committing the money to do it.
Are those mainstream Democratic values?
I sure as hell hope they are, because if they're not, then I'm perhaps in the wrong party. If we're not committed to a meaningful war on drugs, to decent education, to affordable housing, to social and economic justice, I don't know what this party's all about then. That's what this Democratic Party has always stood for. And that's what he stands for, and that's why I'm proud to stand for the very same things.
Now, are you going to ask Florio to sign something here tonight? Or?
We'd like to have the last question. Will he sign the same guarantee? We'll guarantee, and we'll sign it, put it in writing, that a commitment to cut auto insurance rates by 25% across the board, 50% on liability, or not seek re-election. Now, if he's so sure he's right about whatever that plan is, passes for a plan in Washington what he's sort of has spoken about. I've never seen any great specificity about it except to sort of move rates around. But if he's really serious about this, You want to know whether he's willing to do what we're willing to do.
The wonderful Yiddish word, Cohen.
Oh, yeah.
What's his first name?
Are you two joining forces?
Well, we always are like this. I say I miss him when I don't see him in a day. We see each other all the time.
Dorothy and the Lion.
Yeah, we place with the medical society.
I even That's right. That's right. Are you on the?
Hey, I'm not on their list here. I haven't
You've been banned?
That's right.
I'm not only one other place I've been banned besides Boston. I'm banned at the medical society.
Let's note that. It's not for Karcher or Sigmund.
Start our own little club.
That's right.
Banned by the medical society.
There we are.
You could join forces, you know, and then there would be only one.
Hold on just a minute.
Now there are four.
You like, Congressman? You'd rather have two than one?
I didn't catch the whole conversation. The last part I'm a little curious about.
No, we were just wondering if they were to join forces, maybe there would be a more formidable.
Oh no, each individual is very formidable. I mean, no question about it.
Nice.
Maybe we could have a first name.